Hi, everyone. Darrell Coleman here. Welcome to another episode of Social Impact Live. Today, I wanted to share with you an inspirational story that I heard this morning that reminded me of why I do the work that I'm doing, and maybe it could be something of a source of uplift for you as well. This morning, I saw a story online about a young student, a college student, who during this pandemic has experienced some hard times. He's a walk-on to the college basketball team at OSU, and during the pandemic, his mother lost her job. Right? As a young man, he took it upon himself in so many ways to guide himself through his career ambitions, through his life, through his education. So he went to this college. He walked onto the basketball team. He showed up early. He stayed late after practice. He put in the work for 3 years, right? The pandemic hit. And when his mom lost his job, he recognized and he saw within that his responsibility, or maybe he saw it simply as an act of love to take a job himself, to make sure that he could support himself and his family. And so he went and he got a job at Walmart as a college student, working 40 hours a week, while also going to all of his classes and continuing to show up and play basketball for the university. I think the piece of this story that really got me was the response of his coach in response to the effort and the energy that he put into everything that he was doing. So his coach, realizing the challenging situation that this young athlete had been in, and also his dedication, his work ethic, and his contributions to the team, recognized an opportunity to award this young man a scholarship after 3 years of work, a scholarship which would allow for him to pay his bills with respect to his college tuition, likely his room and board, and a bunch of other major expenses that he is very likely incurring as a college student. And that was something that he surprised him with at work, which I thought made for a fitting moment overall, and the young man was moved as well. But ultimately, I was inspired by this story because I was inspired by the kindness of the coach, by the recognition of this young man's energy, input, and effort. But I was really inspired by the young man himself. Right? There are so many people in society, so many people in our everyday lives who are doing things for the benefit of others, and he's working so that he can support himself and his mother. And he's also still trying to better himself at the same time. He doesn't seem like he comes from a privileged situation. He doesn't seem like he has a lot of resources available to him. All he has is his own ability to stay committed and dedicated to what he wants to do and to work hard. And that was ultimately something that was rewarded in the end. I guess there are a few takeaways that I have from this that both lift me up, but also remind me of the work that I'm doing, the work that you're doing, the work that we're all trying to do here. One of these points is that hard work can be rewarded, right? We can put in the work, whether that's us or whether it's the work that other individuals are doing. That work can be rewarded, and oftentimes we don't see what those rewards look like when it's someone else. But it's nice to know that people are recognitions. Second is that small deeds, right, small acts of kindness, individual acts of kindness are taking place all around us, and we don't really see those. This young man put in the work for the team. He contributed to the team's activities. He scored points. He represented his university well, and so he earned the reward that he received in so many ways. But it was also an act of kindness by the coach that was inspiring to me, that he went out of his way to make sure that this young man was going to be taken care of more than he was otherwise. The third is that I have a real soft spot for the people within our society who want to climb, who want more, who want to better themselves. They want to better their own lives. They've got the drive, but there are these barriers, these obstacles that stand in their way that keep them from getting there the same way that other people can get there. And I think that the number of people in that category is a lot higher than we might think, than the media might project, exist within that category to start with. There are these ways of categorizing people without money in America that makes them into lazy people, people who aren't striving for more, people who aren't working their hardest. And I think that's a false narrative. And what this story reminds me of is that there are young people, right? There are old people, there are young people who are working every single day as hard as they can to transform their lives um, into lives that give back to their own families, give back to their own communities. They're trying to become their best self. But there are still these challenges that remain, these things that persist in front of them that keep them from getting there as easily as others might. So if I think about a student who has to work 40 hours a week at Walmart and then finish all his coursework and is on the school basketball team, and I think about a student who doesn't have to work 40 hours a week, I think about the advantage that a student who is able to pour all of that extra time and energy into their schoolwork, or even half of that extra time and energy into their schoolwork, the advantage that that kid has over the other, right? And so I think the last piece for me comes back down to this reality: the coach's actions are good, and the actions of this young man to work on behalf of his family, but to also work hard for his school and for his own future are good as well. But the scholarship likely doesn't remove a significant number of the challenges that he faces, right? The scholarship is one measure awarded to one student. The young man from the story, right? He is represented. He's representative of so many other students that are working hard like this all across the country. But the scholarship isn't going to pay for his mother's rent, right? The scholarship isn't going to pay for his mother's food or any of the other expenses that the family really has because she lost her job. And that just reminds me that there are these systemic pieces, these systemic elements that we need to continue to design for, these pieces that we need to make sure that there are remedies for, that there are ways we can build systems that ensure people consistently have the ability, right, to reach their full potential without having to make such tremendous sacrifices, which can affect their own future, right, in order to get there. So it's just a reminder, this story overall, that while there are positive bright spots within it, there is goodness within it, there's still a need for us to do the work to ensure that more people can more easily achieve their potential, contribute to the world all that they have, than are able to right now. We still live in an imperfect union, an imperfect world overall. The world will always be imperfect, but we can put our time and energy and effort into making sure that people like this young man and others are able to tap into their full potential a bit easier. So that's my lesson. That's my story for today. It was just a bit of inspiration that I wanted to share with you, a story that I saw that lifted me up. I teared up while watching it. If you're interested in seeing it this morning, you can go to my Twitter feed. It's _Darrell Coleman _, and it's right there as well, so you can watch the story yourself. But I hope that you continue down the path that you're heading on today. I hope that you continue to work on behalf of those that you are working on behalf of. And if you have any questions, if you have any comments, if you have any things that you want me to address on future episodes, I would really love to hear those from you so that I can make sure that I'm providing content that is useful. That's really the purpose here, right? The purpose here is that this channel is about you creating social impact, you creating social change, you building social ventures. It's not about me. It's about me sharing what I've learned, what I'm seeing, and being useful to you. So if you don't let me know what you need, then I have to sort of figure out what might be useful to you. But the way that I think this would work best is if I continue to hear your questions. All right. If this is all interesting to you as well, like, follow, subscribe, and I will see you